common question I get from my students is, should they quit their job for music? And of course, everyone has their own specific situations, but I've had plenty of students go all in. At the same time, I've had many others work regular jobs and get incredible results. So the bigger question is not if, but more so when do you take that leap? And I'm going to give you my answer. I'm going to give you the answer that has worked the best for my students. If you don't know, I'm Justin. I run an artist development school called Cosmic Academy. I've been around for over 10 years, and we've worked with over 650 incredible artists who do incredible things. They get great results. They play the biggest shows like Ultra, Ibiza. We just had 3 students play EDC. They signed to the biggest labels like Tool Room, Anjuna, Armada, Monster Cat. And believe it or not, 95% of them get those results while working a full-time job. That's right, you can continue to work your regular 9-to-5 regular job and get those results. 95% of my students do that. But I'm going to use 4 real examples of my students who did make the transition from real job 9-to-5 to full-time music. And we're going to talk about when is the right time to potentially quit your job. Because honestly, sometimes people quit their job too soon and then they're in music full time, but they don't have enough work coming in for their music career that they end up waking every day just kind of waiting. And you want to avoid that. You don't want to quit your job too soon. There's obviously the risks with the money that you're not getting anymore, but there's also just the mental thing of sitting at home, having nothing to do, and that brings on anxiety and depression. You know, people need to feel like they have a purpose to wake up and do things. And if you don't have the job and you don't have a lot of work coming in from your music, it's going to cause problems. So we don't want to quit too soon. So let's go into these examples. I'm going to give you 4 students that are different types of people, and maybe you can relate to one of them and say, okay, that's like me. Maybe I'll do it like that. Before we do though, very, very important, I need you to smash that like button for me. I have no idea what it does, but I'm pretty sure it gives a snack to a Labrador. It gives a snack to a dog. Don't you want to give a snack to a dog? So smash that like button. Let's give some snacks to some puppies right now. I appreciate it, and so do all the dogs. Okay, first example of our students who have quit their jobs and gone all in. We'll start with Taylor Torrence. Taylor is one of our most successful students. He plays EDC, Beyond Wonderland. He's signed to Enhance. His music is on a state of trance. He's very, very successful. And he's in music full time now. But when we met Taylor, when he joined our program, when he took our school, Taylor was a corporate transactional attorney. Really brilliant one too. Went to an Ivy League law school, and I'm not kidding. He would come to our classes with the suit and the tie and the button down. So obviously, he did not just quit that job immediately. And before I continue, I'm going to give you a heads up. I'm going to openly talk about these people's situations, like maybe their age and kind of what they have going on in their lives. And they're okay with that. They've given me the green light because I think it's important to understand, like for Taylor, Taylor's a guy in his mid-30s who's married with a mortgage and a house and those types of things. So you can at least sit there and say, okay, those are big responsibilities. So we're going to talk about these people and some of the responsibilities that they do have. Because when I see other videos about this topic, you never really hear what that person actually had going on. Were they living with their parents? Did they have a mortgage? Were they married? Did they have kids? You know, what responsibilities did they have? Because you just hear, oh, this artist quit their job and went all in. Well, that's easy to say, but what was going on? So we're going to talk about all this openly. So Taylor, just being open with you, he couldn't just quit his job immediately. He waited a few years and he did what I always preach. You have to have enough money saved up, but also, and this is the key, know that you're going to have enough money coming in from the music. Now, you don't need to like completely supplement and make it a perfect match of what you used to make. Yeah, you got to be able to make the bare minimum, right? However, I also never suggest going strictly from the full-time work to full-time music. There can be like a transition job, like a part-time gig that you're doing to kind of bridge that gap. And that's exactly what Taylor did. He didn't go just from lawyer to full-time music. He got himself a transition job, a side gig, a part-time thing to bring in some extra money while he was going full-time in music. And there's plenty of side gigs that you can do that aren't full-time jobs. I mean, I can just use myself as an example. When I started my career throwing throwing shows. I went from being a paralegal full-time 9 to 5 in corporate offices to throwing shows, but I had a transition job. I had a part-time job and I would work in restaurants. And those types of jobs are great. They're great because the hours are typically flexible. It's not 9 to 5 and it gives you other time to work on your main purpose, your music career. For me, it was throwing concerts. So Taylor took one of those types of jobs. He does video work. He helps us a little bit and that helps supplement his income for the music career. Let's take another example. Let's use Bexxie. Bexxie, again, like Taylor, has done incredibly well as one of our students. We're so proud of her. She also just played EDC. She's going on tour 7 lines this month, big 23 city tour, bus tour. She's on Insomniac and Tool Room and Anjuna, but she literally only in the past few weeks has been full-time music. The rest of the past years that we've known her since she joined our program, she's worked a corporate 9 to 5 as a senior marketing manager. And like I said before, I'm going to talk about them personally and who they are. She's over 40. She's got a mortgage. She's got the dog. She's got all those responsibilities. And normally I would never talk about a woman's age, but this is something she wants out there. She wants people to know. And she's very inspiring to many of my students and many people out there that you can be over 40 and you can have these other responsibilities and also play EDC and also go on tour and also do these great things. So she waited and waited and waited. She was doing shows with Above and Beyond. She was playing EDC. She was signing to all these great labels and still working full time. And like Taylor, when she thought it was the right time, when she was getting ready for it to be the right time, she didn't just go full-time job to nothing. She also said transition job. I'm going to do some part-time stuff while I'm going full-time into music. But as I continue to give these examples, I hope you're realizing, oh wow, there's not that much pressure on me. I don't have to just go all in on music. I could still get great results working full-time at another job. Now let's talk about someone a bit younger. So if you're watching this and you're like 20 to 25, 26, 27, here's a great example for that. Nostalgix is probably one of our most successful students. She's played the main stage of EDC, the main stage of Beyond Wonderland. She's on Nightbass and Confession and DimMac and all these great labels. And when she came to us, she was about 20. She was working full-time, I think more than one job, and she was a student in university. So she was really busting her ass. And like the others, Nostalgix did not just quit everything immediately. She finished our boot camp, she signed her first record, then she signed with Bijou, then she signed with Chami's Confession label. She starts doing all these shows, and she was still working jobs. However, she was a bit younger than Bexxie or Taylor, so she didn't have like the mortgage or the spouse and the kids, and she was able to do things a little bit differently. But the same is true for her as well, where just like Taylor Torrence, just like Bexxie, Nostalgix also waited until she had enough gigs and signings and music work coming in before she quit all the jobs. So you're starting to see a pattern here. And now let's check out Charles D. Charles D is another student of ours, absolutely crushing it. He plays Ultra, he goes on tour with Eric Prydz, he signed to Drumcode and Insomniac, and he's just doing incredible. If you're into techno music or some of that dark progressive stuff that's doing very well right now, he's like the biggest up and coming thing. He's crushing it. And just like the others, when he came to us, when he came to Cosmic Academy, he was working full time. He was managing a restaurant, so he comes from more of that side of things with work, if you can relate, and he did not quit immediately. Like the others, he was signing big records, playing big shows, and still had the job. He did not quit that job until he was getting 4 or 5 solid paying gigs every month. On top of that, getting, numerous record deals throughout the year. And then when he finally got to that place, just like the others, he didn't just completely quit the working. Transition job, part-time job, while doing the music. So while he went all in on music, he had some small things here and there that he would spend, 5, 10, 15 hours a week on to help with the income. So these examples all have a lot of commonalities, even though these are 4 very, very different people. And what I hope you can take from this, if you're sitting there right now, is you don't have to quit your job right now. Sometimes, like I said at the beginning of the video, it could actually cause you a lot of internal strife, anxiety, and depression if you end up not working and also not getting enough from your music career. The other commonality that we learned from all 4 of these people is having a part-time job job or a transition job to help kind of like supplement things when you do go all in, it's a huge thing. So I don't want you to think all these artists you look up to just one day walked out of the office and were full-time touring artists. Typically, you don't really see that they had a side gig, they were working some odd jobs over here and there, they're doing some part-time stuff, and they probably waited a little bit longer than you think. And maybe throughout this video, you were sitting there saying, that's all great, Justin, but I want to play those shows. They're all playing EDC and Ultra, and I want to play EDC. Well, you're in luck because I made an entire video on the 3 different ways our students have successfully played EDC. So that's going to pop up somewhere to the left, to the right, somewhere around me. Go watch that next, and I'll see you in there.